The most anticipated showdown between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol has finally taken place, and it was nothing short of electrifying, and boxing experts wasted no time breaking down the madness that just unfolded in the ring.
And listen, I was going for Beterbiev, but I think the right man won tonight. Could have been a draw, but I think that Bivol edged it by 1-2 rounds, for sure.
What do you think made the difference?
The accumulating of punches. I think that even though he was fighting on his back foot, he was throwing more combinations, and I think landing a little bit more, a bit better. I think what I would take from Beterbiev, I think what I noticed a bit different was that he was going for the body more than the head. I think he should have kept going that route. I think it would have slowed Bivol down, but hey, I think that we should look forward to a trilogy now.
Unbelievable. I mean, to be honest with you, I can't believe Dmitry Bivol won that fight after what I saw through 5 rounds, because I thought he won the first 2 rounds, and then we knew Beterbiev would start fast, and he just came out like an absolute train, and it looked like nothing was going to stop him, or nothing was going to, just reduce the pressure. And what we saw from there is probably the best boxing performance I've ever seen live. It was unbelievable. I mean, young fighters, look at the way he stabbed the body, landed on the body, made Beterbiev follow him around, worked at angles. It was just the purest performance I've ever seen.
Derek, we have just seen Dmitry Bivol crowned undisputed. What do you make of his performance tonight?
Great fight. He won the last 2 rounds. That's why he won it.
In terms of winning the last 2 rounds, that's where he thinks he lost it in the last fight. What technically do you think he improved on?
You see, he dropped in round 9, yeah, and 10 was split, and he just went on from 11, 12, and that was it.
Do you think he won or lost the first fight?
I think he lost. He lost the first fight because they didn't give him the belts. If he won that, they would have given him the belt. So he lost the first fight. He won the second fight. Now we'll see fight number 3.
Hey, bud, what'd you think, man? I saw you dap up Dmitry in the ring. What'd you think of the fight?
Oh man, he did good, man. He won the fight.
Overall, the way he fought, what do you think made the difference tonight, in your opinion?
He was in better shape.
Yeah?
He left it all in the ring. He wanted it more.
Just a quick one on Bivol. Did you agree with the scorecards?
I'll be real, I was caught up in an in-depth conversation, future planning and so on. So I can't tell you exactly what the scorecards were, what it looked like at the fight, because I wasn't fully locked in. But the score's the score, innit? You can't reverse time. What did you make of it? You tell me.
It was close, but yeah, I'm not going to argue with anything. It was very close.
Was it?
Yeah,
like the first one?
Yeah.
Would you want to see a trilogy?
I don't know if we need to, but I would definitely watch it. Would you watch it? I would definitely watch it. Do you know what? They're both very elite fighters, because what makes them so unique is that they're so different in terms of their game plans, their strengths, their weaknesses. They're so different, but they gel so well. Do you know what I mean? Because you're expecting one thing from Artur. Bivol's like slick and showing us what boxing IQ looks like. Then you got a rugged, tough, strong man in Artur Beterbiev, and they just gel really well.
What was different about this fight from the first fight?
I don't know. I think this fight better than first fight, but we'll see. Now my time to come back.
When you come back, we saw Trilogy come up to you right after with 3 fingers in the air, saying third fight. Is that what you want? A rubber match with Dmitry Bivol?
Actually, I don't want second fight too. I mean, it's not my choice, but no problem. We're gonna do third fight if we need.
After the fight, I came to Beterbiev and I told him, Artur, I respect you so much, because when I was young and I came to national team, I was looking after you, how you are training, and you were the #1. I really respect you, and I want to shake your hand and say thank you for this fight. and we shake hands. And he said, thank you for the fight also, and this is sport. Yeah, this is what happened. You are a good fighter also. And then we had another talk. He came, but he didn't. But he said, like, I will not shake hand now because we will have third fight. And it was in the normal way, not like arrogant. You know, it was fine. I said, okay, no problem.
Main event, what a fight it was. I mean, two unbelievable gladiators, the best of their generation by far, and what a fight they put on for the fans. I mean, it had everything. It was fought at an unbelievable pace, brilliant skills, courage, bloody whiskers they've got, the pair of them. And I've got to take my hat off to Beterbiev. He's 40 years of age. How does he do that?
Oh my goodness. What was your thoughts right before they read the scorecards?
I thought Bivol just got it. I thought he came back into it. You know, I think we talked about it before the fight. I said I think the first round would be like the 13th or the last, where Beterbiev came back into it. I felt that he would start stronger this time, but I was surprised that he just, like at one stage, you know, was it I think about the 8th round, it seemed like a little bit of gas slowed down a bit, but great fight, fabulous fight.
Some people have Bivol winning both fights. Of course, the first one went to Beterbiev on the card. So what happens if we see a third, which I assume we're going to do?
Well, I'm sure the guys will do it. You know, I mean, nothing's been done yet. But if they do, cool, bloody hell. Can you imagine what that's going to be like?
The fight between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol had been building up for months, with experts and analysts debating the possible outcome. In the lead up to the fight, predictions varied widely, setting the stage for an electrifying showdown. Before the fight, Spencer Oliver and Hamza discussed Bivol's path to victory, analyzing what adjustments he needed to make. Hamza believed that Bivol's key was increasing his punch output, but warned against being reckless, as standing in front of Beterbiev was dangerous. He expected a repeat of the first fight, with a potential late stoppage by Beterbiev.
You had everything in that fight, you know, with Beterbiev and Bivol.
Yeah.
How does Bivol turn it around, mate? How does he, has he had to go soul searching?
It might sound a bit silly, but I think the only thing he can do different is throw more punches. But he threw enough the first fight, because I don't think you can. Well, it'd be silly to stand with Beterbiev. It'd be silly to stand with him. So yeah, I feel like it's going to be a repeat of the first fight, maybe even a late stoppage for Beterbiev.
Oliver, however, pointed out that Beterbiev wasn't at his best last time due to an injury, which affected his usual approach. He highlighted Beterbiev's ability to set traps rather than relying solely on pressure, something that made him a more calculated fighter.
Yeah, well, it's a big shout, man, big shout. But I think Beterbiev was injured going into that last fight, and I think that may have hampered his performance. And I think the big problem that Bivol's got is how he controls that space, because Beterbiev is not just a wrecking machine. It's educating him what he's doing there as well. You know, he's calculated. He sets traps. He does things, even though it looks like he's just all-out aggression. And so I think that Beterbiev, yeah, definitely.
Amir Khan, while making his prediction, admitted his personal connection to Bivol, stating that he had known him for a long time. He expressed his admiration for both fighters, acknowledging their skills and championship mentality. However, he leaned toward Bivol, not just because of their friendship, but because he believed Bivol had the style to trouble Beterbiev. Khan emphasized that there was no bad blood between the two, as both were respectful warriors who represented themselves well. Despite that, he acknowledged the challenge ahead, knowing that Beterbiev's power made him dangerous in every round.
A good fight than both my friends, and I like Beterbiev as well. He's a Muslim brother, but I like Bivol. I know Bivol more personal. He's more of a personal friend. So if I was to pick someone, I'd rather go for my friend. Nothing against Beterbiev. He's a great champion. He's a Muslim brother as well.
Veteran cutman Russ Anber gave a detailed breakdown of Bivol's chances before the rematch. He praised Bivol's technical brilliance, calling his performance in the first fight near flawless. However, he questioned whether there was much room for improvement, as Bivol had already executed a strong game plan. While some believed Bivol needed to be more aggressive, Anber was skeptical that any changes would make a significant difference.
Difficult to say. I'm not sure how much more he can improve on his performance. I think he boxed an excellent fight. I'm not sure what alternatives he can come up with.
When discussing Beterbiev, Amber was more confident about his potential improvements. He reminded everyone that Beterbiev had been recovering from knee surgery during their first fight, which limited his aggression. Despite that, he managed to close out the later rounds convincingly and hurt Bivol on multiple occasions. Amber believed that a fully recovered Beterbiev would be an entirely different fighter, capable of controlling the rematch in a way he couldn't before.
But I do believe that Beterbiev can improve on his last performance. I don't think we saw Beterbiev at his best. I think he had had surgery on the knee. He wasn't coming back, wasn't as forceful as he usually is. He seemed to be a lot more conservative. I personally gave him the edge at the end of the fight. I thought he closed out the last 3 rounds quite solid. I thought he showed that he was able to hurt.
Teofimo Lopez sided with Beterbiev, predicting that he would once again come out on top. However, he still hoped that Bivol would perform better and put up a stronger fight than in their first encounter. Lopez acknowledged Bivol's technical skills, but pointed out that he lacked the necessary grit in the later rounds to secure a victory. He believed that Beterbiev's power and relentless style would be the difference maker again.
Who you got February 22nd, Bivol or Beterbiev? I think same outcome, Beterbiev. But rooting for Bivol. Hopefully he does better than the first time. If anything, I think Beterbiev is gonna hurt Bivol this time around. But kudos to Bivol, man. He boxed very well, but he just didn't show enough grit in the last championship rounds. It's a great fight.
Shakur Stevenson, however, believed that Bivol had approached this fight as a revenge mission. He pointed out that Bivol started strong in their first bout, but lost momentum in the later rounds, which cost him the victory. Stevenson expected Bivol to make key adjustments, ensuring that he maintained his intensity throughout all 12 rounds. He suggested that if Bivol could sustain his work rate and avoid fading, he had a strong chance of reversing the outcome.
Revenge. I think Bivol, all he had to do was just finish a little bit stronger. He did really good in the fight, but the last 2 to 3 rounds, he kind of let his foot off the gas, and I think he know that.
Shane McGuigan also saw the rematch as a potential redemption moment for Bivol. He highlighted that in their first fight, Bivol fought in bursts, often stepping back and giving away moments that could have been decisive. McGuigan believed that this time, Bivol would stay engaged and press forward more consistently. He hinted that the fresher fighter could have the advantage, subtly favoring Bivol to perform better in the rematch.
I think it'll be revenge. I think Bivol can look at that fight and think where he could have, he fought in spells. I scored it to a Beterbiev. Just felt he was more consistent. Feel like if Bivol had pressed it a little bit more, because he was pressing it in bursts, but then he was going off. He was taking long breathers, and it wasn't like he was tired. He probably thought he was in control and winning. Whereas you have to win. When you're in an undisputed fight, you have to win it as many seconds of every round as possible. And I think he'll look at that and think, I can beat this guy. And I think once again it might favor the fresher man.
Darren Barker also seemed to favor Bivol this time, having believed he won the first fight. However, he acknowledged that Beterbiev finished strong, and if he had started faster, it could have made a difference. Barker pointed out that Beterbiev recently turned 40, which could affect his ability to maintain his usual intensity.
Beterbiev finished the fight strong. So I think he can be busier. He can start a lot quicker. Having said that, again, he's just turned 40. He's no spring chicken. And this starts to take its toll on you. The training camps, the fights, the pressure, the build-ups, it all really does. The shots that you've taken in sparring and on fight night, your resistance starts to fade ever so slightly and it becomes very, very difficult. That's going to happen to Beterbiev. We're starting to see it already, is the decline started to happen. It's a great fight, but a fight where I believe it's going to be another really, really close one, but I favour Bivol.
Carl Frampton took a balanced approach, standing by the result of the first fight while acknowledging the controversy around it. Despite that, Frampton leaned toward Bivol in the rematch, believing that the Russian fighter would make the necessary adjustments. He saw potential in Bivol's ability to adapt and expected him to make strategic changes this time. While he didn't completely dismiss Beterbiev's chances, he felt that Bivol was in a better position to win.
I picked Beterbiev for the first fight. I know there's a wee bit of controversy. Well, there wasn't really. I thought the right man won the fight. I thought Beterbiev won the fight. but it was very, very close. But in the rematch, I think Bivol wins the rematch.
Fraser Clark, however, saw the rematch as a true 50-50 fight. He recalled that Bivol wasn't dominating the early rounds in their first fight, yet many were surprised when Beterbiev won. Clark credited Bivol's intelligence and resilience, believing that he had the tools to reverse the result.
I think it was an unbelievable fight, but you know what? I think Bivol, he wasn't. Like the first 4 rounds, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe Beterbiev won the fight. You know, after the first 4 rounds, obviously it's a 12-round fight, but I think Bivol has got the brain and the sort of...
At the same time, he respected Beterbiev's ability to adapt and apply relentless pressure, making him a difficult opponent for anyone. In his opinion, if these two fought 10 times, they might each win 5, making the rematch completely unpredictable.
Beterbiev, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce it nowadays. Beterbiev, yeah. So I had him picked for the first fight, and I think he did fantastic. You know, once he grew into the fight, he's a really difficult force, but tactically and with a lot of stubbornness and physicality, I think it's a 50-50, but you know, if they box 10 times, I think it could be a 5-5 sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Bob Arum had expressed full confidence in his fighter, Artur Beterbiev. Arum acknowledged the closeness of their first fight and expected another competitive showdown. While he praised Beterbiev's skill and strength, he also admitted that the fight was unpredictable. He indicated that this rematch would be just as intense, with no guarantees for either fighter.
Again, these two guys are very, very good, competent light heavyweights. I like my guy's chances. My guy is Beterbiev, but it can go either way. It was a very close fight, as you said, the first time they fought. I don't think it will be a walkover this time. I think it'll be a close fight.
Anthony Yard, who had once shared the ring with Beterbiev, also reflected on their first meeting. He recalled the fight being extremely close, but ultimately felt that Beterbiev deserved the victory. Dismissing any claims of a robbery, Yard stated that the result could have gone either way.
I do think Beterbiev won the first fight. It was a close fight. People will start saying stuff about robbery. I don't know about all that. It was a very, very close fight. Could have went either way.
Looking ahead, he predicted a similar outcome, favoring Beterbiev once again. However, he believed a key adjustment would be for Beterbiev to attack Bivol's body earlier in the fight to wear him down and gain a more definitive edge.
The second fight, I see Beterbiev winning again, if I'm honest. But this time, if he goes to the body a bit more, I think he can cause more damage.
Canelo Alvarez, having first-hand experience against Dimitri Bivol, acknowledged the immense skill both fighters brought to the ring. His analysis suggested that the rematch would be another war of elite talent and tactical brilliance.
And just one more from me, Beterbiev Bivol, the rematch. What a great fight that is in Saudi. How do you see that playing out, Saudi?
It's going to be a really good fight again. Both are great fighters and
Dave Coldwell had initially believed Bivol had done enough to win the first fight, but the judges saw it differently. He was particularly surprised by Beterbiev's adjustments, noting how he shifted his focus to the body late in the fight. Coldwell expected Beterbiev to start that strategy much earlier this time, making it an even tougher challenge for Bivol.
I don't know, because I did think Bivol would win the first fight, and he did, and for me, he did. I know he didn't get it, but I was a bit, really? I thought Bivol won the first fight. This time, I don't know, because I was surprised that Beterbiev didn't go to the body in the first fight till later on in the fight, and I was like, I remember, I think I was with Callum Simpson, who was working for Sky, and it was with Callum Simpson, I think, and I was like, he's not gone to the body at all.
At the same time, Coldwell felt that Bivol would enter the rematch with more confidence. Having already experienced Beterbiev's power, he would know what to expect and how to adjust. This could give Bivol a mental advantage, but Coldwell remained undecided on the final outcome, keeping his prediction at a neutral 50-50 and reserving judgment until fight night.
And that really surprised me. I think this time round, I do think that Beterbiev will go to the body earlier. So it could make it a harder fight for Bivol. But then Bivol will have that more confident about him because he's been in there, he's tasted that power of Beterbiev, and he now knows, rather than thinks he can beat him, he now knows that he can hang with the power. He now knows that, because in the exchanges, he was coming off really well. So I don't know who wins.
You're not... Dave,
right now,
you're 50-50.
I'm 50-50 right now, but I'm going to go out to the fight and I might change. I might pin it down.
Meanwhile, Lonnie B was skeptical about David Benavidez's chances against Beterbiev. With his own ring experience, Lonnie pointed out that Benavidez's approach of standing in front of his opponent and blocking shots would be a major flaw against Beterbiev. He believed that such a strategy would be dangerous against a fighter with Beterbiev's raw strength and relentless aggression.
But is David Benavidez ready for Artur Beterbiev?
No.
Why is that?
And like I said, I'm not a David Benavidez hater. I'm just looking at the fight, and with my experience, been in the ring with both. If he's going to give Artur a good fight, he got to come way better than that, because that style he got, just standing in front of you, blocking, and countering.
Lonnie further emphasized that success against Beterbiev required constant movement. He referenced Dimitri Bivol's ability to maintain distance and avoid getting caught in prolonged exchanges. Lonnie warned that standing and trading with Beterbiev would be a recipe for disaster.
I don't think that's a good. That would serve him well fighting Artur with a guy who's extremely physically strong. Artur is physically an animal and punches extremely hard, and going toe-to-toe with Artur.
Renowned trainer Teddy Atlas gave his advice to Bivol on what he needed to change. He argued that it wasn't about what Bivol had to do differently, but rather about what he had to avoid. Atlas felt Bivol had done everything necessary to win the first time, but there were moments, particularly around the 7th round, where he let Beterbiev dictate the fight. He believed that if Bivol avoided falling into those traps again, he could secure a clear victory.
It's not about what he has to do. It's what he has to not do. How's that? How's that to start? You know, really, a trainer is a teacher. I would hope that I'm a teacher. And that, I've told fighters that before. It's not about what we got to do. It's what we got to not do. And make sure we don't. He did everything he had to do to win that fight the first time. What he has to not do, and I think the perfect encapsulation of this, bud, around the 7th round, blew past the midway point. Around the 7th round of a fight that he might have been winning. Tough fight. But I thought Beterbiev came on in the championship rounds and won the fight. I thought he won. I mean, no controversy, but a good fight, a tough fight.
So, the long-awaited clash between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol has finally taken place. Did this fight live up to the hype? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and let us know how you saw the fight play out. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates on all the latest boxing action.